Okay, this time I want us to go through every tense and look how me verbs, especially in particular didomi, looks like. Okay, so let's brush up a little bit. We've had a stem, we've got a stem, we have reduplication, we have iota that is used in this reduplication, and personal endings, right? All of those. That's what the verb consists of. I guess you remember about all those master verb charts with augment, reduplication, and so on, so on, so on. That's exactly what we're talking about. Anyway, so this is just present. Active. What's the difference between active and passive? Well, glad you asked. As you could hear very often. Glad you asked. Present passive differs in a few things. First of all, it's passive endings. What are the passive endings? I guess you want to know. My, psi, die for singular, and metha, sve, and die. So in this case, it's not different. It's just what we're used to. Now, our stem is do, and omicron does not lengthen. And the reduplication is there. Reduplication is happening in present and in imperfect. You're gonna see that. But so didomai, didosai, didotai, didometha, didoste, didontai. Yep, that's very straightforward. So that was our present passive indicative. The first one was active. The second one is passive. Okay, let's put it. Present passive. So again, the only difference is my, psi, tai, metha, ste, and tai, and no omega, just omicron. Okay, that would be the present. Now, it would be cool if we had just present, but we do have some other tenses. Let us look at present active. Well, yeah, let's go over moods as well. So present active subjunctive, what would that look like? How does subjunctive differ at all? Well, let's try to figure out. Present active subjunctive. The reduplication is there with iota. The endings are a little different, but apart from that, everything's just as one would expect. Dido, didoi, dos, with iota subscript. Dido, didomen, didote, and didosi. Now what we have? We see omega with the circumflex, just with the accent mark. And if you remember subjunctives, the lengthened vowel is a very characteristic of subjunctives. Apart from that, the endings are just the same, or pretty much the same. See, not us seeing. I guess omega and alpha just fight, and whoever wins wins. and some stuff happened here, which we don't need to go through. I mean, it's just too much to think about. So that was subjunctive. Dido, didos, dido, didomen, didote, didosi. And what's left in present? Imperative, right? Let us look at imperative. It's taking us so long already. In imperative, we have only two persons, second singular and third singular, second plural and third plural. So two persons and two numbers. Why? Because I don't technically command myself. If I command myself, I do it with the help of subjunctive, and it's like, let us do this or that. It's cohortative. We use some different word in Greek class, but you get the point. So here we have, I can only command you, singular or plural, and Greek does command to the third person, but it's like, let him do this. I'm commanding him, but he's not standing in front of me, so I can tell him, you do this. No, let him do this. So what do we have here? We have our stem, which is still do. Since it's present, it has reduplication with iota, and the ending is different for second person, singular, it's didu. Third person is di, do, to. To is very common, right? But didu is not so much. So it's second person singular, third person singular. Let him give. Let him give. Second person give, meaning you. Now, how about second plural? It's didote. Now, somewhere we've seen that before, right? Here, didote. In second person plural, just present active indicative, and second person plural in imperative is the same. Fun fact, that's how you say it in Ukrainian if you want to command somebody. It sounds similar. Not that it's going to help you at all. So second plural and third plural is didotosan. Now let's try to put it. Didotosan. Again, te, tosan is very, very common. Only second singular is sometimes can be different. Okay, we've got through presents pretty much. And since we're gonna have exam at some point, we probably need to look through other stuff. Let's look at imperfect. So what's there? I'd love to compare it with present, just because I can. Let's have a look. Okay. So present active indicative or imperfect active indicative. So what happens in imperfect? As you still know, the aspect is still continuous. I kind of try to remember that in continuous tenses there is reduplication. It might be wrong, but you know, it doesn't hurt. So imperfect is also continuous and present is continuous. So what we have is the stem with reduplication, with iota, but also we have augment, because augment tells us that the action is in the past. and the endings that are characteristic for imperfect. And we end up with a didun. Second person is a didus. Third person, a didu. Don't forget our breathing marks and accents. First plural, a didomen. Second plural, correct, a didote. Yes, that's a quiet New York evening. And third has two forms. It's either a didosan or a didun. As you can see, third plural and first singular is the same. It happens in imperfect tense, and we've seen that before. So you've got augment, you've got reduplication, you've got your stem, and the endings. And all of that forms imperfect. How would we translate imperfect? Yep, I was giving. What about I gave? Well, glad you asked. I should stop saying that. It sounds like I learned it from someone. I gave would be rendered through aorist. Aorist. Now, we have a stem, as usual, aorist active. Stem is do. Is it a continuous aspect? No, it is not. And it does not have reduplication, for that sake. And again, it's just my explanation. Don't take it too seriously. But it does have augment because it happens in the past. And the ending for this particular me verb aorist is ka for the first person. So the morpheme of the tense is ka. We've seen ka imperfect for regular verbs. Well, we're going to see them here as well, but it also appears in aorist active indicative for me verbs. A good thing to remember. Apart from that, everything else is very straightforward and logical. You've got edoka, edokas, edoken. Now, just right here, right now, I'm gonna point your attention to this can. Oops, doesn't really look that nice. No, does it? Can. You're gonna see that all the time because in New Testament, third person singular is kind of common. He did that, he said, he whatnot. And ka changes into ke in this morpheme, the same way as sa in aorist, usual aorist changes into se. Just a thing to remember and recognize. Okay, so first plural is edokamen, actually, edokamen. Now, why do you say edokamen and not adokamen? Because there are four syllables, right? And the accent cannot go further than the third syllable. Okay, fun fact. Edokamen, edokate, edokan. So we've got ka everywhere. Then just endings, the ones that we're pretty much used to, and augment. That's it. Pay attention that here, as in present, we have omegas and omicrons. That's it for aorist. And we really have just a very little number of other tenses. Aorist active, of course. There is aorist passive too. Now, just a few words. What about future? What do we do with future? Where should we put it? Here. In future, we don't have reduplication, and we have just usual conjugations. So the word would look like dosa. Why do we have sigma? Right, because it's a morpheme of future tense. And then the endings are just like we're used to. So it doesn't really, it's not really necessary to go through them because the video is so long already. I need to cut some stuff. Okay, the perfect. We have our stem. We have reduplication. Now it's a different kind of reduplication. It's reduplication that shows the time and the completed action because it's with epsilon. And transformative ka. It's for active. And the passive is de, do, my. Cool. I guess that's it. It wasn't really all that hard, was it?